So let's see the second property of the placeholders. So we have already seen the first property, that is depending on the positions of the placeholders will decide the position of the value passed in the function call, and we have also seen the program and executed on the ID. Now let's see the second property, that is depending upon the number of the placeholders will decide the number of the values which are passed in the function call. So this already I have shown you earlier. Number of the placeholder, for example, this is _1. So if you just execute these two line of instructions and don't execute these line of instructions, so when you execute these line of instruction, so you can see when you call the bind function, this is the function to which it is binding. This is add_func. It is bind to this function, and the definition of this function is here. And we are passing _1, 20. So placeholder maximum value is _1. That means this bind which then returns a new function object by the name new_add_func. When you call this function, it will have maximum of 1 argument. You have to pass only one argument. One argument which you pass. So you can see here new_add_func, and you're passing only one argument. So it is bind to which function? It is bind to this function. So in this function, what is the position of 10? The position of 10 is this. It will be the first argument of this function to which it is bind, and this rest will be filled. The second argument will be filled by this. It is b will be filled by 20. So you can see here only we are having one argument. When we call this function new function object, it is bind to finally this function, but this function is having two arguments, but that doesn't matter. In bind, what is the maximum placeholder? Here it is present only _1. That means only one argument you are supposed to pass while calling this new function. So if you don't execute these two line of instruction, if you execute these two line of instructions, that is this one. What is this one? You are calling the bind, and it is bind to this function, that is add_func, comma 10, comma 20. So you can see no placeholders are present, and it returns this new_add_func. So that means when you call this function, since no placeholder is present, therefore no argument you are supposed to pass. You can see here. Beside, you can see this add, it is bind to this function add_func. It is having two arguments. Still doesn't matter. Since there are no placeholder, that is the reason we are passing no argument. You can see how does the number of placeholder, how much important it is. It will decide the number of the arguments which are passed in the function. Now here, if you execute these 4 line instructions, but you execute these 2 line of instructions, you can see when you call the bind, the maximum placeholder present is _2. So therefore bind will return this function, and when you call this function, you are supposed to pass 2 arguments. So this placeholder number, it will decide how many number of argument you are passing when you call this function. So this is how this property will work. So just moving on to the slide, you can see depending on number of placeholder will decide number of values passed in the function call. Now let us see the code block IDE. So you have to create a new project for same. I have already created it, and so you can see we have to include these two header files, IOStream and function. You know function why we are giving, because bind function returns the new function object. It is a functional adapter, so we have to give this header file, and we have to give these namespaces, that is std as well as placeholders, because we will be using placeholders. Now what we are having the main function. In main function, you will see just we are displaying this message cout, and this 2 line of instructions. What it is, we are calling the bind function. We are passing this OPER. What is this OPR? Obviously, it will be a function. So let us see which function it is. It is this OPR is simple function which is having 3 arguments, and how it is simply doing the mathematical operation of addition and then subtraction, and it will display the result. So this is that function. Now what does it do? It will be binding to this function, and since there are 3 arguments, therefore you can see after OPR there will be the 3 things present in it, separated by comma. Now you can see the placeholder _1 and _2, and maximum placeholder is _2. So you can understand this bind function when returns this function, and when you call this function, only 2 arguments will be passed. Rest of the argument will be filled by this value, that is 5. So you can see when I'm calling new_func1, since this new_func1, it is bind to OPR. So 10 will be the first argument of this OPER, 20 will be the second argument, and the third argument will be this 5. So this is simply equivalent to 10, 20 and 5 will be passed. So therefore when you see here 10, 20 and 5. So what will be the result? 10 plus 20 is 30. 30 minus 5 is 25. Right? So it should be 25. What result it should give you? It should give you 25 here. Now when you see, when these two lines of instructions are executed, what will be the result of it? So you can see bind function we are calling, we are passing this OPR, then we are passing _1, rest of them are valued. So therefore the maximum number of placeholder is only 1. Therefore when this function will be called, that is new _ func2, we are passing only 1 argument. So how it will be replaced? It will be simply, since this _1 actually it will be mapped to this 25, therefore this since new _ func2 is bind to this OPR, in OPR this 25 will be the first argument, then 10 will be second argument and 4 will be the third argument. So you see 25, 10 and 4 will be passed. 25, 10 and 4. So 25 plus 10 is 35 minus 4 is what? 31. So this should give you 31. Give you 31. Now when you call this bind function, you can see are not passing any placeholders. So it returns this new _ func3, and when you call this new _ func3, you are not passing any arguments values because there are no placeholders. So this is how this property works. Now let us now how this will be calculated. 20, 10 and 4 will be passed as it is. So 20, 10 and 4, 20, 10 and 4. 20 plus 10 is how much? 30 minus 4 will be 26. So it should give you 26. So finally you should get 25, 31 and 26 displayed. Let us see. So let us see here. So you can see here I got the result as I got display message bind feature in C++11, and then I got result is 25, result is 31 and result is 26. So I got as it is, as we calculated. So this is how we have seen this program to understand the second property of the placeholder. Now coming back to the presentation, we are done with this bind feature. So you can see we have done lots of program in order to understand the bind feature. We have seen what is the definition of bind feature. We have seen the example of the bind feature. We have seen why this bind feature is required. Then we have seen how the bind feature works actually with the help of placeholders. All these things we have understood, and we have seen what is the placeholders. We have seen the program for it. We have executed it. We have seen the properties of the placeholders. Property 1, we have understood this property 1. We have seen the program executed. The program to understand the property 1. Then we have also seen what is the property 2, and we have executed the program to understand the property 2. So this is all for the bind feature, and now we will be seeing in the next session the different new feature of C++11. Thank you, friends.